Welcome back to another episode of the Los Angeles Angels. We have simulated the entire first month of April, and we pretty much have a 50-50 chance of making this into a very good season or a very poor season, and so far we're looking at about a 59% chance of winning, which is what our percentage is pretty much right now, so yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. So we're doing pretty decently so far. We have some weaknesses. You can see it in our lineup and in our rotation and in our relief, unfortunately. There are a few blemishes, but otherwise we're doing very decently overall. Our American League rankings will show that. Calhoun, unfortunately, went down for an injury about 3 days ago, and he's out for he's out for 4 weeks, so he'll be on the DL for a while. We do, however, get Garrett Richards back in 3 days. So we'll have to make a decision about what we do with him. We're going to send him down for rehab before we do anything else. However, we don't quite know if he's going to be replacing Wilson, or if he's going to be replacing Casimir, or if he's replacing Shields. We're not quite sure. So we'll see how it goes, because I'm not quite sure what we can do about this for the future of our team. However, there is a very good chance that one of our starting pitchers we have on our rotation right now will be in fact traded by the middle of May, pretty much. By the middle of May, they'll all be traded. Our relief is a bit of a concern. Soriano's been a good pickup. We did get Soriano to sign with us. I guess I can run through the mailbag at this point. There's a few things I wanted to just touch on really fast. We got a lot of our minor league people to sign with us, which is a very good situation. This will actually give our minor league system a fighting chance against other ones. Street re-signed for an additional, 5 years? No, 6 years, I believe. It's a 6-year extension, but 2 years are vesting options. So here's how it worked. He wanted $10.6 million a year. And I thought that was a bit high, so we offered him 8.5 and then 2 vesting years of 9.5. There's vesting options that require him to have 40 saves each vesting option year. So if by the time he turns, what would that be? That'd be 36 and 37. If he's not closing at that point, he would lose out on those 2 vesting options. So we'd only end up paying him 8.5 with some incentives, to do about $1.25 million. So there is enough to make him an almost $10 million closer if he does well each year. Now that requires him to be an all-star and have 40 innings pitched per season, or per year technically. But right now he's on track for 76 with 52 saves and a 1.78 ERA. So yeah, he's probably going to get both of those. But to be honest, that's what we want him to do, because if he doesn't do that, we don't get saves. So, 7 saves in the month of April is a bit low for saves, but the fact that we had 13 wins means that we won 6 games by blowouts, which is better. That means we had a 50-50 chance of being able to either blow out the game, win it by, a very small margin, or we'd lose it by an unknown margin, mostly a little under 50% of the time. So, a good little system here at this point. He's doing well. He's doing very well. The one issues that we do have is some of our relief is not very good. And hence, we got Soriano. And Soriano has done decently for his 3 games appearances at this point. He actually has a save as well, which is very interesting for 3 innings of pitched work, which I would prefer not to see happen in the next time we throw him, please. Sheesh. I know he threw 37 pitches, but come on, that's 3 innings is way too much for that guy. Give him a break. We did sign Sirs as well. He is right now having some time in AAA. He's batting .271. He used to be batting .280, but a couple of bad days has put him a little bit behind schedule at this point. He's hitting the ball all over the field, which is really nice to see, and his fielding makes him a very good target to come up to the majors very, very soon here. Hopefully, this is where it gets a little interesting, because I could see him being either a really good trade bait or a very good replacement for Dozier, but Dozier is very young still, so I don't see him leaving anytime soon. Cabrera's been out for 2 to 3 weeks. He's had a slow start so far. Well, not slow in the fact that, he's doing poorly, just hasn't been playing at all. Bautista also got injured. He's out for another 3 weeks. I think he's back by now, I think. But yeah, there's been a couple of injuries. Not too many. I know that, what was it? Pedroia missed 3 to 4 weeks. He's been going off to a slow start. Ziegler got injured. He's going to be out for 8 to 9 months. So the D-backs lost their setup man, which is kind of sad. The Milwaukee Brewers traded for Ian Kennedy from the Padres for Hector Gomez, who we actually looked at picking up at one time, and Wong, who is just pretty much had his career fizzle out at this point, even by the age of 23. I just don't see him doing very well. And he then turned around and got injured, so... Actually, no, wait, I'm thinking of the wrong person. I'm thinking of the Yankees, Wong. This guy's pretty decent. This is the prospect guy. So maybe if he hadn't gotten injured, he could be still playing. But he has been injured off and on this year so far. He had a strained forearm, so he hasn't been playing full time yet. Who else got injured? I know that Shen did very well against Boston. Beerly won his second 200th game. That's hard to say. Reyes has been performing very well in Toronto. 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, 386 batting average. How many stolen bases do they have right now? Only 3, but that still means 21 and, of course, 21 home runs. So he's doing very decently for his first month of play. Ozuna was doing pretty decently at the beginning of April. He was batting .467, had 2 home runs and 9 RBIs, but he has cooled off immensely since then, which is kind of what he does. Peterson, he is out for 6-7 weeks with a fractured thumb. He was not doing very well before then. He doesn't do very well for a lot of the times. But then the Cardinals made a huge shocker of a trade. They went out and got Justin Verlander for Mark Reynolds and Carson Kelly, who pretty much is a decent enough catching prospect, but I really feel like the Cardinals got away with a huge trade here. Reynolds and Carson Kelly are not worth Justin Verlander, and hopefully this does not come back to bite the American League in the butt, with Verlander possibly going to the All-Star game for the National League instead of the American League. We will see. Chiswick had a torn ligament. He'll be doing Tommy John surgery on his elbow. He was on the Marlins team, who were doing very well. And I think they're still doing very well at this point, too. Yeah, 14-8 with the Phillies tied for first place. But, now they're having Ramos save, and that's going to be problematic. So they're probably going to start dropping more games than they should. And they have a die-hard good rotation right here. I wish the person I was watching play as the Marlins could have done something like this, because this is what you really want out of the Marlins. With Mike Morse batting .349 with 8 home runs. Yeah, this is the Marlins that you want to see do well. This is the team that I kind of was expecting to see in 2015 was that. Altuve did very well. Had a 5-hit game. Sorry. Zach Greinke shut down the Padres on the 25th. He's been doing not a great year for him so far, but a good decent amount of innings so far. So he should be okay. We have a new shortstop prospect in Contreras, and we'll see just how good this kid is later on. But for now, we're not quite sure if we want to keep him. We'll put him in our teams, but for now, he's just another prospect for us. Chavez shut out the Astros. We almost traded for him in the end, which would have been fun. But he unfortunately eluded our grasp, and we did not sign him. Ramirez got the Player of the Week, as well as Hayward. Ortiz is going to miss 4 weeks. He's been cooling off, unfortunately, even though he pretty much has a routine of hitting 30 home runs and batting .260 to .300 at this point. Cueto shut out Milwaukee. That's a good sign for Cincinnati fans at this point. We increased our power rankings up to 13th after a really good last run. And then, of course, Trout winning. I think he won. Yeah. He won the Batter of the Month awards after having a 5-for-5 game, and that was pretty good. Ooh, Walt Weiss took it against the media. Wow, against Yanoa and everything. Good grief. So the Rockies are having a hard time. Wow. Okay, so Voto crashed his car. Wow, that's a new little piece of information. Huh, interesting. Sale's still going to be out. He's expected to miss another 4 or 5 months of his torn labrum. Wow, that's sad. That means that Chicago's going to have a hard time, which is strange because Chicago right now is technically first with 13-9 record. They've been backed up from their rotation and what, just good hitting? Nah, I don't even see how they're doing so well. First in home runs, I guess that's their biggest thing, is that they just keep scoring runs whenever they need to. Oh, Ramirez is out. That's why. He was doing pretty decently as well. Wow. Bonifacio and Abreu are doing pretty well too. Wow, Abreu is just suddenly caught on fire. That's good to see, actually. So, I mean, yeah, Chicago may not be staying put if they don't have Sale coming back soon, since he's out for another 4 months now. That's actually really, really sad. That's really sad. The Pirates lost Bastardo for the rest of the year, pretty much at this point. He had been doing their closing? Really? Okay, that's kind of rough. That means Pittsburgh may not have a good enough chance to win a lot of games. Of course, Mike Trout won Hitter of the Month, as did Mike Morse, who was batting .349 of 8 home runs. He's been doing very well. Miguel Gonzalez, oh my gosh. Wow, he's having a great year so far. Man, I didn't see that coming. And Papelbon has 10 saves and a 0.69 ERA. Rookie of the month so far is Pompey. And for the National League, it's Jace Peterson, who's doing pretty decently, actually. 6 stolen bases, .310 batting average. Pretty well done. At this point, standing-wise, the really big teams that are making waves are the Cincinnati Reds and I would say the Chicago White Sox. But you got to include the Marlins and the Phillies on that list as well. The Mets and the Nationals are just taking a dump right now, just not doing well at all. So we'll see how those teams go. We are half a game out of in front of first place, 1 game out of the Astros. That's pretty much what it's going to be like the entire year. It's just us dogging it for first place. We're doing pretty decently, however, and I really feel like we're doing a good job. But like you saw at the beginning, we do have our own weaknesses. Right now, Cron is terrible. 136 batting average, 1 home run, 4 RBIs. We may be sitting him down for some time out and putting Featherston over at third base and Chris Johnson taking over at first. Johnson, on the other hand, has been doing pretty decently. 364 batting average, for 18 games, but only 7 games started. However, that is 33 at-bats, so not bad. Other people who have been doing pretty decently. Peralta's been doing very decently. 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, 310 batting average. And then, of course, we have Trout, 417, 4 home runs, 6 stolen bases, 14 RBIs, 17 walks, and 23 strikeouts, however. But Cron's 21 strikeouts are a bigger concern because he's just not getting on base at all. Pujols and Dozier both have 5 home runs, 16 RBIs, but Dozier's batting .307 compared to Pujols' .241. Przinsky's been doing very decently, but Cutler's sharing time with him, which is what I wanted to see. But his .313 batting average with 2 home runs is exactly what I was expecting to have happen, so very decently done there as well. Ibar. Now, this is the one person that I really wish was doing better. He's batting .189. He is a defensive shortstop. If we click on him and bring up his stuff, he is going to win a Gold Glove. But he's going to be the worst hitting Gold Glover you could have ever imagined. So there's a potential chance that we start giving Featherston a whole lot of playing time at third and shortstop to make up for Cron's just inability to hit right now. So we'll find out what happens with all that on more simulations. We may actually look at putting Zobrist in at second base full time and having... No. Dozier would go... No. Zobrist would go to... Well, he's technically playing outfield right now. Who was I thinking of moving? Dozier might get moved to DH for Cron, and then Featherston would take over second base. We may move someone else up from the minors as well. I really feel like as if we could probably use 1 or 2 more hitters, giving us some more time to split between our depth. Because right now we do have an additional pitcher up right now, and that's Severino. But he hasn't even pitched in the majors yet, so technically he hasn't even gotten any time as of right now. However, Joe Smith has not been doing very good at all. So there may be an option for us to do some deals with Smith, maybe Morin or Salas included if we don't feel like they're doing very well. They've been doing better as of recently. I think Morin's doing much better as of recently. Salas keeps having these one little hiccups every single now and then. He technically hasn't thrown that much, only 8 2/3 of an inning. So he really only has had ever like 1 bad day. So he'll probably bring that back down pretty quickly at this point. So I really don't have a whole lot to say about both of those guys yet, since relievers pretty much just ebb and flow very, very quickly. I guess the same for Smith, but he's had 2 now blow ups at this point, which was really sad to say. When you see him throwing on a lot of our losses, that's when you know he's not being used correctly, if you want him to be doing very well. Now, Soriano coming in and throwing in a lot of these weird situations is also not correct. 3 innings pitched is not a good idea. So there's a lot of stuff we have to work on. Jerry Weaver's doing very, very well, having a 1.63 RA, 27 innings pitched. He's just coming in and doing a decent job. You know, he just comes in and does his stuff. Now, technically, I don't think he'll keep that 1.63 ERA. I don't think he can possibly keep that around. But his walks are down. His strikeouts are down a little bit, but his whip is very much down, and that's what I want to see, because that's what we need out of him, is a very, very low whip. If he can do that, I'm happy, because that's all we want from him, is to be able to keep us in a contention spot. So hopefully we do well in the next couple of months. We're looking pretty decently so far. We'll continue doing more sims, and I'll recap every single month and let you guys know what happens, and we'll keep you guys up to date. So thanks for watching, and we'll do more next time.